What's going on, guys? Over here picking up some honey locust, aka heavy locust, and of course the cuts aren't good, a lot of them anyway. I took a lot of the good ones before and there was a lot of stuff that was longer too. You could see there's only a few that are cut the right length, and then a bunch of them just way too short. There's going to be lots of boiler wood once again. I haven't even cut up the load that I dumped last time, and same thing, a lot of boiler wood with that too. And apparently the boss, you know, who I call when I tell him to cut the wood properly, he's the one who cut the big stuff, so we cut it too short. So a lot of this stuff is kind of in between lengths too. It makes me think or makes me have an issue deciding whether it's going to be firewood or boiler wood. You know, if it's in like the 13-inch range, it's close to 14, which is kind of like my minimum. I do a little bit of 12-inch, but I'd rather do 16 and 18-inch. But it is an easy load, and it's going to help me finish off my 6-quart boiler load, so let's get it done. Okay, that's pretty much a full load. I'm not gonna kill myself here. Not really trusting the truck these days too much, you know? Just doesn't seem like it has enough power. The good thing about this load is it's actually somewhat dry. Like these pieces, they lost a lot of moisture. And that's not typical of honey locust. Honey locust usually retains in water. It doesn't rot. A lot of these honey locusts in the city get cut down with a permit, not because they're dead. So a lot of this wood, like the smaller diameter, it'll be ready for this season. Maybe some of the medium diameter stuff, that'll be ready to go, but otherwise it's a load anyway. There's lots of boiler wood. I kind of concentrated on some boiler wood for a bit, pieces like this and whatnot. Let's get these ones up here. And it's supposed to be a cold day today, guys. It's actually pretty nice. I'm like overdressed. Yeah, I gotta get that fixed. Gonna put the tailgate, or the gonna put the license plate right on the tailgate. The main reason why it's catching too is because the tap on, or the main reason why it's catching is because the self-tapping screws, I didn't cut the ends off of them, so it's just kind of catching on the tailgate mechanism. Okay, back to the woodyard. Should be everything in the truck. I didn't even look, and how I know it should be everything falling out of the truck is because I put the big pieces, see, I put those big pieces and they're set to roll back, so everything that's in the truck, it'll just push it out with all that weight. You load the truck right, everything comes out properly. When I first started loading up wood in this truck for some years, I started loading the wood side to side, all in nice rounds. And it's funny, I used to get so much nicer cuts then. Everything would stack nice, and I'd get all kinds of 16s in there first, and I'd work on the 18s after. And this used to have everything more, what's the word? More symmetrical and loaded nice, you know? And the truck could take a lot more weight for some reason, whatever. And that was when the coil springs were actually fried and the truck was like lower in front, right? I did end up busting a couple ball joints a couple times. One time I had no load in the truck and I was right in front of my shop and the ball joint blew out and the truck sank down, right? Cracked up the wheel well a bit, but yeah, the truck's not holding so much weight these days, but loading it up nice like that, like I said, those rounds, they'll just push everything out, and the whole load, as you can see, came out nicely. All right, so I'm leaving the wood yard, so I gotta go out looking for some scrap. Because the phone's not ringing these days, I'm not getting my day calls, having to resort to going out for garbage day. And everybody puts their stuff out on the curb, and you can just drive around and pick stuff up. Oh, there's a bunch of old cars in that parking lot. Let's see if you can see it before I get out of here. I know this building's in the way. Lots of, like, it looks like 50s cars and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, I've got a chance of finding a bunch of stuff. I don't know, maybe a half a truckload before it gets dark. And that'll end up being like, I don't know, 300 bucks if I get half a truck. 600 if I get lucky and get some good stuff, then more. Put on my seatbelt. The problem with that is there's too many guys doing it too. So when you're driving around looking for stuff, then you see other guys driving around, so you have to figure out which way you're gonna go after that. You know, you're going through the residential block and they're coming at you one way, and you gotta figure, don't go that way because they've come from there, but you don't know what they've covered, right? Everybody's just kind of zigzagging through all the streets and looking for stuff. I do go out looking for scrap on Sunday afternoons because people are spending the weekend going through their backyard and going through the garage and the basement and everything, and they're throwing stuff out. They just put it on the curb. So Sunday afternoon I can go and I can get like a nice load on the truck. It's not like back in the days where things could fill up, you know, but because the economy's bad, people aren't really spending their money to go out and buy new stuff. So they're not basically throwing out old stuff because they're buying new stuff, right? So that's the problem with the scrap business. It's kind of shrinking because, you know, it depends on an economy with people having money to buy stuff, use stuff, and throw stuff out, right? So I'll finish up the rest of this video in the next session that I get into the wood yard, which is probably tomorrow. I'm bringing a bunch of bags back to the shop because I got all that hickory and sugar maple that I got to bag up. So I'll be able to finish all that stuff that's in front of the shop next time. What's going on, guys? So back to finish the rest of this video. And I haven't been here in a few days, I guess about maybe a week, because I've been trying to do all this smoker wood over at the shop. I had the chainsaw over there, so I'd finish up with the smoker wood before I come back here, use the chainsaw as much as I can, get everything done, and then head back over here. So I actually got really lucky. I got a load of bitternut hickory. And I've only had hickory, this is the 7th time in 12 years of doing firewood. One time I actually thought it was butternut instead of bitternut hickory because I didn't know the difference at the time. I had butternut one time and I found out that it wasn't good wood, so the next time I heard bitternut I thought it was butternut, and I actually gave it away for 60 bucks, basically a delivery fee. And then I remember the smell while I was messing with it because I knew the smell from the first time I got hickory, but it just didn't register, and then I realized after the fact that it was actually hickory that I had. So tough luck, I learned my lesson, and now I know the hickory. And even this one that I was working on last week, I wasn't sure because there was an arborist report for the tree that was cut down at this guy's house, and it said it was an English walnut. Because I didn't know how to ID English walnut, I've never seen it before, I just went with the arborist report. I went with the pros. But the smell was there, the wood looked like hickory, so I started doing all this research to find out if that's what it was. But then sure enough, after a while I realized it is bitternut hickory. And I took it and I made almost every piece of it into smoker wood. So I did a full crate, not one of these like IBC totes, a little bit smaller of a crate. I filled one up at the shop because I have all those crates there for my wood that I burn in my wood stove. So I filled that up, and then I did another 22 bags. So I figure I have about 30 bags of hickory. And I'm contemplating raising my prices for the smoker wood, which is 20 bucks a bag. I really should. It's a good deal as well. But you know when people cry because of, you know, price increases, right? But it is what it is. But the hickory, at least, I know for sure I'm going to sell that 25 bucks each. And it's definitely worth it. I was asking before when I dropped this off what type of wood it is. I don't know exactly what species specifically, but it is an oak. You can tell because it's got all the rays in it. So it's definitely oak. And then that dry stuff there is Siberian elm. And then there's a bit of ash. And then, what's this stuff? I don't know. Anybody know what that is? It's not cherry. And I bet you it's a fruit wood. I didn't think I was going to bring it because I wasn't sure if I'd fit it all, but I did. Look at these funky cuts on the ash. The other one has a bigger angle on the other side, but 3 nice big pieces. They're all cutting on a bad angle. And that's what that I found while I was out picking up scrap. Thing is, it's hard to find scrap, but nobody touches the wood. Not nobody, but you know, you leave the wood out, it's gonna sit there for some time. So I gotta change the chain. I got my old chains that I got sitting in oil, which I was gonna sell, but I'm just gonna keep them because, like I said, I don't really get too much use out of the chain. I might sharpen it twice. I think an issue that I've had is my bar being messed up, so I've just gotten rid of the chain. Thought I sharpened the chain unevenly, but it was the bar. So these chains that I have, they're still good. Actually, let me go get it and show you. It's a little bit dark, you can't really see, but this one, I guess I've sharpened it maybe more than twice. Yeah, this one tooth is eaten up right there. Well, not really. It looked like it. But it's just the dirt that's on top of it. And there's not too much of a point on there anyway. But I will sharpen this up quickly. And well, wow, this does look dinged. But yeah, I'm just going to reuse this chain anyway. I bet you the other chains that I have there are better. But I'll just keep going through those chains until I'm done. I probably have about 20 chains there, so I won't have to buy chains for a long time. What I want to do today is a lot of this honey locust. It's already getting late. I'm only going to have about an hour and change to cut it. There's going to be a lot of boiler wood, so a lot of this stuff will eat up pretty quickly and go into the 40-yard bin. The 40-yard bin's almost done. I was hoping to maybe finish it off by the end of the week, but we're just coming off of a long weekend and I might not be able to get it all done by Friday. The thing is trying to get the driver ready on Friday, and then I'll have to make sure that this order is ready by Friday.
Yeah.
Okay guys, I should have mentioned this before, but I only had half an hour to cut and split. So because it's honey locust, I'm actually going to get the maul axe and I'm just going to bust up some of these nice straight rounds. They'll just bust up real easy. But it took me forever to sharpen that chain because some of the teeth on the one side, they were a lot longer than the other. So you could see the saw was kind of skipping a bit, but it did cut pretty good. And I've been having issues with the chains, and I've been sharpening it like a few times in the last like week, right? Sometimes I go for weeks without sharpening, guys, and the saw's still sharp, right? But lately I've just had some problems with it. I've nicked the ground once at the shop. It's the asphalt floor. But I got a bunch cut up in here, and I'll do as much as I can with the axe. I did get here a little bit later than I wanted. I don't know if you guys usually hear that, but what has been happening lately is I've been having to fix all my vehicles. I just had to buy a part for the boat, the key switch, and I had the boat out recently, and it's $100 for that. And you got to get the OEM one, because what happens is when you have the aftermarket one, you crank it, it will actually, the key will go all the way around instead of cranking, right? So you can get accessory, but then you go to crank it and then it won't crank, right? So I replaced that, but that's minor. That's $100. I'm now on the 4th wave of fixing the Tahoe. And I've been having the ABS give me warnings, and the StabiliTrak and all that stuff because of the front wheel bearing. I think it's just one I have to do. And what else do I have to do? I have to get the CV boot replaced. I have to go to an off-road shop because the guy botched the last job. I won't even get into that. And I have to do some stuff to the wood hauler. It's actually getting the tailgate fixed right now, or maybe the guy fixed it already. And I think it's just a broken wire, that's all. But I just did a control arm on the Tahoe as well. And what else did I get? I got the 2 tie rods and also the sway bar bushings. I put a down payment on a set of tires, so I have to pick those up soon. Yeah, hopefully I can get in here and hopefully finish this bin by the weekend. I'll call the guy and start trying to book him from now, and we'll just play it by ear when I can go, because it's hard to say when the bin's gonna fill, right? Also, I call this bin the never-ending story because it just takes forever to fill. Even when you get it to the top, you add a few pieces, you know, you add 20, 30 pieces, and then no, you need another 20, 30. And you need another 20, 30. Then you need another 20, 30. So that's why I call it the never-ending story. Okay, I'd like to concentrate on this boiler wood, but there's so much 16-inch firewood in the way. So I'm trying to clean up that as I go, make room. Stuff is really dry, guys. If you guys know this wood takes forever to dry, but look at this. This wood is like super dry, man. And the thing is, when you open it out like this with the warm weather, like this is like you could burn this right now. So another week and it's gonna be fully dry, because once the wood has lost a lot of moisture and you open it out, it doesn't take long at all for it to dry. You can tell by the sound of that it's dry. Big knot right in the center here on this side. Just move the axe over a bit to avoid that area. I think if I turn it around, then it'll split better. Gotta get the wheelbarrow. See, some of this is looking like good 12-inch. I'll probably make a 12-inch crate. I should do that because I don't have any made for next year. See, this one's pretty thin. It is a little bit dry, but it is still kind of wet inside. A lot of moisture gone, but because it's so thin, it's going to dry quickly. So even though this is a little heavier for its size, it's still going to dry quick. kind of analyzing every piece here, and it reminds me of a commercial I saw. It wasn't a commercial, it was just some satire. And I don't know what the purpose of it was, but they had a couple guys and they made them to look like chefs kind of thing, right? Like high-end chefs. But what they were doing was talking about firewood and procuring their firewood and how they're inspecting it and everything, and they made it look like these guys were like analyzing diamonds or something, you know? So I started to read the comments and I saw that people, they were like, is this really true or whatever? And well, since I'm the firewood retailer, I had to set the record straight. Because even I questioned it for a minute, and I was like, what's the point of this? But of course, it was total satire, right? But anyways, I said in my comment, I said, guys, this is probably the biggest form of satire in the world, because firewood generally has such low value that you have to pump this stuff out as fast as you can and not even touch it in the process. Just get it in and out, because in the whatever the video, they were showing these guys and they were like sniffing it and they were dusting it, and you know, they had all the movements and the eyes and the graceful moves and everything, right? So I was like, yeah, this is such a big joke, guys. It's beyond a joke. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and all that good stuff.